Welcome to another episode of Cyber Secrets.
Good morning. My name is Jeremy Martin with Cyber Secrets. Let's get started. This episode we're going to talk about what is a VPN, why would you use one, and are they actually worth it? Well, VPNs are being sold as a way to protect yourself from spying eyes from governments, hackers, and your ISP. And to be fair, that is kind of the case. So you're looking at VPNs are point-to-point encryption. So you're encrypting from your system, if you're using VPN software, to the VPN server. So if you have an organization that's doing a point-to-point VPN, that is great. That is absolutely secure because it's encrypting everything from the VPN software, client, or even VPN server to the other side. However, if you're purchasing something that's a VPN service, there's a few things you need to know. It does encrypt from your VPN system. So again, it could be a router, firewall, it could be your VPN concentrator, or it could be a piece of software. From that system to the VPN provider, it is being encrypted. So your ISP can't see it, hackers and governments can't see it from your system or your VPN client to the server, but that's where it stops. So this is where you need to take in extra considerations. Do you trust the VPN provider? Because they see everything you do. Because it's encrypted to them, then it's unencrypted from their side to the site you're trying to go to. So a lot of these free VPN services, they're most likely making money off your data. They're doing the same thing that they're telling everybody else they're protecting you against. So just know that the encryption is from the client side to the server, and that's it. So now you need to know that if you don't have, let's say, HTTPS, you're unencrypted from that VPN server to the service you're going to. So the VPN service can see everything you're doing. Their ISP can see everything you're doing from point to point. If there's hackers in between the VPN service and the site you're going to, they can still see stuff, and so can all the governments in between. This also goes for Tor services. So Tor is great, again from point to point, from your system through the Tor network to the exit relay, it is encrypted. But that exit relay, they can see everything, and from that point to the main service you're going to, it's still going to be seen by everybody else. So what are VPNs good for? Well, they do hide your originating IP address. With that said, if a government or law enforcement agency does need to get who the originating IP address actually is, they can still send a preservation letter or court order or whatever local jurisdiction and law that they have to deal with, go through the proper process, and still get the account information based off who was connected to that specific IP address at that time. You could also use it as some way to basically hide where you're actually coming from with services like live streaming, things in that area, who are filtering by country. But then you also have to deal with terms of service issues, which you may actually be in violation of. Some media organizations even call that a violation of Copyright Act. So definitely be careful when you're using VPNs or proxies in that instance. The other issue is if you're using it in pen testing or trying to hide your personal identity while doing an investigation, it is very useful because the likelihood of criminal assets or even consumers or customers that are hiring you to do pen test, they're probably not going to have the capabilities to actually find out where you're truly coming from. Now it comes back to the question, are VPN services actually worth it? Well, it depends. What are you doing? What do you need from it? And what business justifications do you have for it? If you're trying to break the law, well, don't. You're breaking the law, you're going to eventually get caught. You make a mistake, they're going to catch you. Game over. If you're doing a pen test, it does help to change your source IP address because sometimes these security solutions may start blocking your IP address. So changing to another one, you're no longer blocked. If you're doing this for an investigation purpose, the likelihood of the target of the investigation or the person of interest to have the capability of being able to track down your actual IP address is very limited. So it's definitely going to help minimize the potential likelihood of your true identity getting leaked out, especially during an investigation. So it all comes down to, what do you need it for? So I do need to say this, just to be on the safe side. This is a disclaimer, do not break the law. But all in all, with VPNs, if you're using it to protect yourself from point to point, especially if you control both points, VPNs are extremely valuable. If you're trusting everything on the VPN service protecting your data, that is a risk that probably shouldn't be accepted. So if you do decide to get a VPN, you do need to check to basically verify if the VPN service is trustworthy or not. Most of the free ones are making money off your data, just to be honest. Many of the others, they do go through rigorous basically testing, validation, things in that area. And some may not even quote-unquote store logs, but just remember that logs are stored for a specific period of time and then released. It may be very quick, but logs are still being generated. And going back to things like a preservation letters require that the entity store evidence for a specific period of time from that point back, and that's the evidence. So logs will still be there. So even if they say they do not store logs, they still have logs, and they may be required by law to store them. Outside that, just make sure you do your due care and due diligence when picking your VPN service provider. There's quite a few of them out there, and some of them do have some very good bandwidth solutions, and a lot of them do have quite a few nodes worldwide, especially if you're doing an investigation. That can be useful when trying to basically make your traffic look like it's coming from a specific country. Outside that, good luck and surf safe.
The Cyber Secrets web series covers computer forensics, hacking, and everything in between. Click subscribe for new episodes of Cyber Secrets. Thank you for your continued support of Cyber Secrets. With the reboot of the different series, we want to ask if you have ideas for future content or suggestions for improvement. Please let us know.